Hi everyone! In this video I'm going to show you how to make these tags, and I introduced these tags in one of my mini albums. I believe it was my Expo mini album swap, and there were several comments from you asking me to provide a tutorial on how to create these tags, and there's some glimmer on here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. In addition to that, I'm going to show you how I distress this Prima flower, and if you look at it, it's shimmery, and that's because I use shimmer paint on these. So I'll show you how I did that. And on here, this used to be a plain clear bling, and I used my alcohol ink in cranberry to get the bling that color. So I'm going to go ahead and show you those three techniques in this video. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Now to create the tag, I actually make the tags myself, and I use 130 pound weight cream paper that I purchased online, and I'll put the URL up as to where I got this. Then what I do is I go ahead and cut the corner at an angle, and then I use that same corner that I cut, see if it's this way, and then I flip it to the other side, and this way both sides are identical. Okay, there we go. And then I just take a standard hole punch, and I just go ahead and punch that. Okay, and I'm going to reach here and show you a tag that was actually purchased at Joann's. And if you look at this tag, it has the little sticker on there. I like my tags to sort of look like store-bought, so I actually have these reinforcement stickers that you can buy at the office supply store. And I just go ahead and put that on both sides to reinforce the hole on the tag. Okay, there you go. And it looks store-bought. Okay. So the next step is you want to go ahead and stamp your image, and what I did on both of these is I heat embossed with embossing powder, and on this one I used black, but interesting enough is when I apply the Pearl-Ex, and I use Pearl-Ex on this one, the black embossing powder now looks gold. It's kind of interesting how it does that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use some Versamark. I'm going to stamp my image on the tag. And make sure you put some even pressure on there so you capture the whole image. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead, put on some embossing powder. And I use Stampendous embossing powder, a distress ink, and I'm going to go ahead and make this guy right here. I'm going to go ahead and use Tattered Rose and Aged Mahogany distress inks, and I'm going to go ahead and color the tag. After that's done, you want to go ahead and take your distress crackle paint, and I'm using Fired Brick. I'm going to give that a little bit of a, this is acrylic paint, so you need to make sure you shake it up, because the oils need to be mixed up in there. Okay. Then what I do is I basically edge the tag with the crackle paint. And you can layer it thick, you can not layer it, allow it to dry. I'll just let it sit and let it dry on its own. But for sake of time, I'm going to use my heat gun to set this. Fairly dry at this point. So the next step is I'm going to add the shimmer to the tag. Now on this tag I used Shimmer's paint, and I actually used it in the color Mocha. This one is magenta, but I used Shimmer's paint to give it that glitter. On this one I used Pearl-Ex in the gold color, this one here, and this one was also given a sheen. And I set the Pearl-Ex using just regular aerosol hairspray. I know, bad for the environment, but when you use the spritz, the hairspray sort of chunks up, so this one gives a better finish to fix the Pearl-Ex. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use Pearl-Ex on this demo. So what you want to do is get a dry brush. Here's just a regular dry brush, and this is actually from my my Perfect Pearls pack, but I'm going to go ahead and use it for my Pearl-Ex. So what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to apply Pearl-Ex, and you can do this two different ways. You can apply it dry and then put the hairspray over it to set it, or you can put a little bit of hairspray now, and that way the Pearl-Ex sort of binds to it. The thing about when you put the hairspray first is that the Pearl-Ex tends to chunk up because it's wet, so you want a really clean finish. So usually what I do is I first apply the Pearl-Ex, and you just do it with a little bit of a pouncing motion with the brush, and then you can just swish it around to get it on there. What I did with this tag here is I applied 2 layers of Pearl-Ex. So, and you'll see that the embossing powder sort of picks up the powder also. So the black embossing powder actually starts to look gold. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some hairspray, and I'm not going to do this on camera because it's going to get all over the place here on my table. So I'm just taking my aerosol hairspray, and I'm going to spray the tag to set the Pearl-Ex. Okay, so there's one spray. Now I'm just going to let it dry a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit more, and you just take just a really little bit of powder. You don't want to get a lot on there, because a little bit goes a long way. Okay, and I'm just going to apply a little bit more. Okay, there you go. It's got a lot of beautiful shimmer to it. Okay, and then what I do is, in this time, on this one I actually used gold dauber paint. On this one I'm going to go ahead and use my espresso dauber paint, which is my favorite. Here we go. And this is just to edge it, to give the edge a little bit of definition. And I like to use dauber paint because it comes out a little bit more bold